Hey everyone, welcome back. Got another few turns here for you in new casting. Basically, I think most recently, Position 1 switched between Joman and Lemuria. And to me, the big news is going to be, does everybody figure that out? Or does everybody keep going after Joman like they're in Position 1? Because you have to be really, really careful letting Lemuria slip into Position 1. Especially this late in the game. We'll start with a message from Lemuria. Joman asked what it would take for a ceasefire last turn. I made some demands to test the waters, 2 thrones and forts around them, the one on the Arco side of things, and the one between our capitals. They didn't like the latter part, but they were willing to talk. It signals to me that they're okay about getting cut to size. It's funny he says getting cut to size when he's in Position 1 now. And they're trying to get more compact, more easily defendable territory. I didn't expect them to be thinking about concessions, and thought they'd have an easier time defending with their lead. But still, a smart move, I think. Ulm hasn't even joined the party yet, and Joman is already very stretched out. Now I have to reconsider what I'm looking for. Complete destruction of Joman isn't exactly a goal of mine. Plus, I'd be next up on the chopping block of threatening blobs if they were gone. Would you look at that province graph? On the other hand, if I eject from this coalition too soon, my partners won't have the luxury of the Lemurian bunkers in every province and have mixed fortunes on the battlefields. And Joman with bits of Bogarus and Abyssia added still sounds like a lose condition for me. I think I should stay in the fight a bit longer, inflict some more damage, enjoy the raiding, and get the old Arco territory he seems to be pulling back from at the moment. I'll equivocate for a bit. I need to think about my own potential paths to victory now. It's all a bit complicated. Sure, it was easier to make plans when it was just stop that guy from winning, as the constraining factor. It's times like these that make you want to play some Candy Crush instead. All right, and we have 2 messages from Joman. Starting to get things rolling with Diplo. Peaced out with Abyssia, pre-war borders, and 20 fire gems to Abyssia. Glad the 3rd annual Abyssian Jomanese war was brief. May the 4th be just as fortunate. Starting to get a coalition going against Lemuria. Only choices I have at the moment are Abyssia and Ulm, so I'm focusing my efforts there. I long for the day where I don't have to cast Iron Walls every turn. Huh. Yeah, I really don't like casting Iron Walls very much. It's a really good spell, but yeah, it's expensive. Message from Abyssia. Agreed to a ceasefire with Joman. They threatened Black Death if the war continued, but said they preferred to preserve me as an ally against Lemuria. Still very unsure about what I should be doing. Feel somewhat irrelevant. I suppose I'll focus on trying to assemble an army that will be competitive. I think I want to spend a bit of time talking about the Abyssia position this episode. I also wish to lodge a complaint. I found one fire gem site in Province 26. Searched fire 2 or higher. Oh, in 26 provinces, searched fire 2 or higher. Yeah, that's just late age. So we'll look at the battles here, and then we'll... Oh my goodness. Who is this attacking Joman? Oh, this is Bogarus. So Bogarus isn't piecing out, obviously. Yeah, buffed armies usually do pretty good against Sinless or Har. This was a lot of casts. This was 5 castings. And then Wraithlord's going against the Laestrogonian Tyrant, who I doubt will have too much trouble with that. And Bogarus picking off more of these Ryujin. And this is, of course, very expensive. Fortunately, there's no gear on these guys. They're just casters, basically, but... these guys have damage reversal, so they're getting triggered by that. Oh. They have a... Huh. This is, must be a battle report. Or, battle replay bug. Because here the Ryujin die, but in the combat we just watched they didn't. But yeah, this is really, really painful for Joman. getting these Ryujin picked off. He's lost so many Ryujin. And Ryujin are something, they're, as Jomin, you just want to build up over time. If you're going, like if your Ryujin numbers are staying flat or going down, it's a pretty bad way for you. And a lot of times it's really easy for them to escape. It's hard to finish off Ryujin because they have this second form that they can escape in. So especially if you get them buffed up, and with a few gems and stuff, as you combine these cross paths and do point buffing on each other, they can get all sorts of buffs on them. They can be really hard to finish off. And then, you know, if you do sort of kill them, they switch forms and then fly away. So really, you don't really want to be losing this many. More raiding going on. Jomin raiding into Phlegra. And I think some of this... Ulm decides... So no, this is Agartha. He is fully committed to going on... oh, this is it. This is what... Okay, get out the popcorn. This is what we've been waiting for. So Agartha has truly taken his last army and just marched headlong towards Ulm's capital. And Ulm has been waiting to catch this zero magic army of Agartha with the Firestorm trap. And here we see two Archdevils prepared to cast Firestorm and Darkness. And it's going to be hard to see with Darkness, so I'll zoom in. Firestorm is up. There's a bit of PD in front that Agartha is shooting at. Oh god. Already some are running off the field. Some of the mages are trying to run. So much death and destruction. How close are they to shooting down these Archdevils? I don't even think they've had to dodge a shot. They do have blind fighters here. Are they? Oh, no, these are entrance guard. Ooh, they're starving as well. So that's probably one of the reasons we got a lot of early routes. Okay, and now they're trying to leave. And there's some fire elementals harrying them on the way out. Does the god... It looks like the god escapes at least. Yeah. Agartha says, get me out of this game, and Ulm says, okay, I'll oblige you. So, how about that? How about them apples? You know, the real good play from Ulm would be to... If he had cut off the retreat route here, then it would be truly over. The good news for him is he has taken Agartha's capital. So the base race worked out pretty well in Ulm's favor here. Jomin raiding around Ulm. And they're about to have to turn into Lemuria. He's got these last two Agarthan forts under siege here. This one's popped. This one's still got a bit of time. Oh man, we'll finish watching all the battles, but I kind of want to comment on, because it's a little bit of a clusterfuck what's happening right now. I think that's about all the important battles. So take a look at the score graphs first, and I'll talk about things from the map. So Jomin's been cut down to size. Lemuria is in position 1 above them. Abyssi is about the same size as they've always been. Ulm's about the same size as they've always been. They're a little bit bigger. Phlegra's actually had a pretty nice resurgence, and Satis is about the same size as they always were. I believe Bogarus, Bogarus has been chopped down, and who did we have leaving the game here? Oh, Agartha. Yeah, and Agartha is now out of the game. So basically, the losers in this are Bogarus and Agartha, and everybody else has kind of gained a little bit. The thing is like, Jomin has been capitalizing on some of the Phlegran losses, right? And while it's been an extremely expensive war here against Bogarus, yeah, actually, they really haven't gained that much from Bogarus. They've gained a lot in the southern region just through raiding, and they have popped this throne this turn with this army. That Bogarus is harrying with Sinless or Horror. Yeah, I don't like that Bogarus is staying in their cap here. They should be riding out to fight. Falegra's got an army on Arco's cap. Lemuria's on... I mean, this is so much... it's hard to even keep track of who's all fighting who. So, Falegra had given up the war on Satis. They're now pushing into a lot of what was previously Arco, and are now sitting on Arco's cap. Lemuria is taking all the land to the north of it, which is a lot of the previous Patala land. And what is going to stem the tide? There's a small army here. Yeah. I think what really needs to happen now, for everybody who's not Lemuria, is they need to settle borders. There's just too much going on, and some of it, like some players are probably also going to need to be knocked out. So this is kind of like a weird thing when you're doing diplomacy and trying to settle borders, is sometimes not everybody gets a seat at the table. Like, for example, even though Bogarus is doing an excellent job defending themselves, has caused a ton of attrition to the Ryujin, his position's kind of too compromised to be relevant, and I doubt he's going to want to, at his current size, giving up the land he's already given up, turn in to fight Lemuria. So they probably just have to be... You have to kind of accept that Joman gets to put them down. Falegra, though, I think is a bit of a different issue. I don't think anybody's in a position to put Falegra down, so I think Falegra needs a seat at the table. And I think if you're Joman, I think what you would want is you would want Falegra to just have basically a push from the south into the north and take all of what was previously Kalem and Patala from Lemuria. So I think you have to get Falegra sold on that idea. Ulm, it's pretty clear what they would do. But Ulm needs to finish off Agartha. So there I think the thing is like agreeing what forts Ulm gets and helping them get it very quickly. But I think the real linchpin in this deal would be Joman talking with Falegra and getting them to turn. Because there were some, I believe, Joman-Falegra fights this turn, yeah. So there have been Joman-Falegra fights here. And this is really counterproductive, because Falegra is a little bit behind in this game. And Joman is going to need them as an ally to fight Lemuria. So I think that's like probably the most important peace agreement. And then they can draw up borders, and it's going to help Joman focus. And really what it is Joman... He really needs other people to help, like, keep Lemuria in check while he finishes off Bogarus. And come to territory agreements with them where they basically want him to be able to finish off Bogarus quickly so that he can help them beat back Lemuria. So, I mean, Ulm has improved their position, getting a bunch of the Agartha lands, especially if they get this forward and once they get these back. Abyssia... I mean, Abyssia's already made peace with Joman. I think if you're Abyssia, you have to kill Satis. I think that's kind of what needed to happen. It's going to be tricky because they need to be able to deal with foul vapors and a lot of tramplers. And these tramplers that Satis has are actually really good against like Abyssian heavy infantry. So... But I think... So if we look at Joman's message to us, he was saying Abyssia and Ulm are going to be the key parts. Or maybe it's this. Maybe Abyssia and Falegra, who I think are going to be pretty key tenants in the Lemurian War, or pretty key allies in the Lemurian War. They need to actually go finish off Satis, because I think it's actually going to take a while for Abyssia to finish them off. So I think they have to make common cause against Satis. Satis has to get eliminated from the game. Joman has to finish off Bogarus. And in the meanwhile, there's just a tremendous number of ghosts pouring in from Lemuria, and I think the only person to really keep them at bay now is Jomin. And so that's really the question. Can Jomin just stem the tide while the other players finish off their small wars, eliminate the small players, and that'll put everybody in a position to turn their attention to Lemuria? The problem if you don't do that, if they leave Satis as a free agent, if they leave Bogarus as a free agent, these players are so small, their interests aren't really aligned to keeping the game open, or like going. And there's not really any reason for them to attack Lemuria more than any other player, right? In fact, it's a better idea for them to stab somebody who has like lands that are worth something. They're just too small. For them, attacking Lemuria or something doesn't help their position at all. It, if anything, takes like a 1% chance of winning and turns it into like a 0.5. So I think these small players need to be eliminated. Anyway, that's my read of Diplo. So if I were Jomin, I would make peace with everybody, get agreement on what needs to happen with the small players being killed, give them my blessing to do that, ask them to coordinate and do it quickly. We all get about that work. The good thing about that for them is they get out of this jousting with Falegra, and they can then really focus everything they have on having some really powerful doom stacks to fight Lemuria. And because they have really good research, they should be able to, once they doom stack up, kill the ghosts. Like they should, should's a weird word, but they should be able to like win decisive battles. And let's go ahead and pull up the next turn. All right, we're back with 76. Message from Lemuria. Late turn peace with Jomin. Going to keep 3 forts I'm currently sieging and a bunch of death gems. Unsure about the decision, but I think everyone is happy with a breather from World War I. Interesting. I'm a little sad Abyssia bailed out after a turn, and I had to ask him what was going on to learn about it, especially when I had stuff at the border that could help on demand and offered help. The spanking they got would be better. With the spanking they got, better be good when I watched the YouTube videos about it. Not really. I think the main thing is that Lemuria's position won by a good margin, and they need to stop beating up on Jomin. Also, it was supposed to be Lemuria making an attacker miserable and turning all forts into Stalingrad. How is it that I end up being the one with a zillion armies tied up in sieges? For lore reasons, Ghost should be able to ignore any fort wall. On Diplo, my current happy path is something like this. I peace out with Jomin, getting my second throne in the process, with Bogarusian territory returned. We leave Falegra holding the bag and keeping them busy. I backstab them while getting a third throne and a bunch of forts, and that gets me in a position where I might plausibly play for a win. Plausibly play for a win? He's in position 1. A serious continuation of the Jomin War would be depending a lot on Ulm joining with a credible force, but the delay makes me doubt their commitment, and I can't exclude that it will go as well as Abyssia's. I'm not going to be mad that Jomin let me take and raid their territory mostly scot-free, but that raises the chances that someone else decides that I'm a bigger threat to the game state than Jomin is, given Lemuria's reputation. I'm wary of staying in this conflict long enough for that to happen. Also, it was supposed to be... Oh, wait. There we go. That's the last message from them. From Ulm, so happy I caught the Agarthan army on my cap, even if it was a fairly predictable move. What I'm not happy about is leaving the god a path to retreat. Oh well, you live and you learn. I've got a third cap now. Clearing the rest of Agartha should just be a matter of time. I'm sure the god will try to assassinate my commanders or otherwise be a pain, but hopefully I can life for life it if it attacks a province. In other news, Jomin approached me a couple turns ago asking if I would attack Lemuria as they are struggling to hold them back. Apparently he's also approached Abyssia, who's open to the idea. I'm not thrilled by the prospect of fighting the ghosts again, but I'm somewhat convinced they are the bigger danger to the game state than Jomin. If Abyssia attacks them, I'll be much more likely to do likewise. Ideally, Jomin would get more reduced first, and then everyone can focus on Lemuria. Something to consider is that I don't think I can win by growing steadily and taking one throne at a time, so I'll have to rush. To do that, I need Bishop Fish and therefore to take a lake. The most accessible is Joman's, so one way or another I need to get that. Decisions. Research. Changed my mind from tarts. Don't think that I have the gem economy to reliably elevate them to commanders. I expected more gems from conquering Agartha, but the player doesn't seem to have much site searching. Going to keep going deep into Thom. Quite possibly all the way to 9 from Master and Slave and Undead Mastery. Okay. Message from Bogarus. Hello, casters. I wanted to dive in a bit into the parts that aren't being shown by your spying eyes. Joman has been using his national assassins to great effect in this war. Most of them are geared with a true shot longbow and a water bottle. I have used different bodyguard units, a couple water bottles on my own key mages, but I got a lot of better rolls. Sometimes the elementals run past each other and get a mutual kill, which is also problematic for me. My Astral 2 mages cast Mind Burden assassinations, which should kill the assassin in theory, but in practice, DRN hasn't favored me. I lost an air-empowered Death 2 mage that was meant to cast Twiceborn, since none of his bodyguards showed up. He was Twiceborn, but now that he isn't in a throned fort anymore, he was Twiceborn, but now he isn't in the throned fort anymore. In hindsight, I should have moved out of my fort to avoid continuously losing mages. I can patrol assassins out and clear forts, but once under siege, the situation only gets worse. Yeah, with Joman, their assassins can scale fort walls, which means they're one of the few assassins in the game that can actually assassinate while you have sieged a fort. Diplomatically, there are some developments. Abyssia has pieced out, apparently, even if they hadn't told us as much. Now I was approached by Joman about peace as well. If peace is reached... Oh, this is really interesting. So I was thinking Joman needs to commit to killing Bogarus, even though it's been extremely painful for him. But he went out to Bogarus and offered peace. If peace is reached, I'll actually gain more land than before in provinces 26 and 48. My blood slave reserves is getting low, so peace to gather resources would be appreciated. I've also dealt with a lot of pressure by Joman, so my gains from a continued war weren't looking great. An easier war would be preferable at this point. Right now I need to get more blood slaves and finally diversify my gem economy to prepare for a long game. Joman also mentioned that my horror cannon, which is a word I used in mentioned my horror cannon, which is a wording I used in a message to you. So I'm betting $5 on Hiko being a Ravzia alt. Horror cannon's it's like a well-known thing. Okay, so I have been working on a truce with Joman. They aren't in an immediate position to win, but Lemuria is. I'm organizing a coalition to take them out because... Okay, so that's good. I think this was actually the backbone of kind of a coalition, was actually Felegra and Joman coming to terms. Because I do not think that even if I could win, I could take the thrones quickly enough. Hopefully it will be enough to stop them. Something we should have done before they grew this strong. Lemuria de Linde Est. Okay, so I'm going to share my thoughts now. We look at all the battles. I think this coalition's messing up on one key thing, which is, and this is what I said, it's often the case that not everybody can have a seat at the table. And here, they've given a seat at the table to Bogarus. Satis, we haven't got any messages from, but really for players to advance and for the game state to progress in a way that's like, especially when you're going to have to fight the pop kill, like the spoils you get from it aren't amazing. So you really need like more land to advance your position, and that land needed to come from Bogarus and from Satis. Yeah. So I think Bogarus. I mean, I think Joman really needed the Bogarus lands. It would be a hard fought battle, but especially with him piecing. The nice thing about him piecing out with Lemuria is that would allow him to give like his full attention to finishing off Bogarus. And now other people might not like it if he were finishing off Bogarus, but he could hand away a throne or two. He could, give them assurances that they're going to have the space to finish off Satis or whatever as they prepare to launch into Lemuria. And here we'll just look at a couple battles. I don't think anything. Got a golem from Bogarus here. Double firebrand and stone boots. Yeah, it's a spooky golem. Oh, and looks like Ulm catches the Agartha stack again with Firestorm. Doesn't look like he has the tools to kill the god yet. When the god runs. The question, of course, was there anywhere for the god to run to? And it looks like no. It looks like he cut off all the retreat routes here. So this is the end of, truly the end of Agartha. This was a fort storming of one of the Agarthan forts. And this last fort still has to be popped. Yeah. So I think that's it for this turn. So anyway, I think, big picture, the coalition's forming, which is nice. I think they're missing out on a couple key elements, which is they're not going to finish off the two weak nations as part of the coalition, and I think they should. Because all these nations can do, Bogarus and Satis, they're not going to be, I don't think they're going to be much help against Lemuria. I mean, maybe they could, but it's not even really rational for them to. Like, their position, when you're so small, your job in the game isn't to stop the game from ending. Your job is to improve your position, and you're not going to improve it much by fighting Lemuria. So these are like natural allies for Lemuria. Just because they're so small, better to go ahead and take their resources and, with their resources in your hands now, you can more easily, spend them to put down Lemuria. And I think we'll do one more turn here. All right, we've got turn 77. Message from Lemuria. On research, I'd be curious what you'd recommend. I'm 6 in most things, with evocation sticking out at 7. Not sure what to go for past that. Lots of useful stuff everywhere, but nothing sticking out to me. I'm thinking of beelining for Conjuration 9 and then Dom 7 for Divine Name, mostly to get a Tart Factory going. I have good Death Astral income, and Death Astral income to back it up. Getting some much needed magic diversity would be decisive in battlefield capabilities. It's a slower, greedier plan than I'd like, but researching other stuff to unlock spells, I'll be mostly incapable to cast. Doesn't sound that great. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need to get Conjuration 9 to, get magic path, or like magic users for various paths. Maybe a little bit higher than Conjuration 6, but I think the big concern for Lemuria is usually battlefield wipes, and the counters to those are in Alteration 8 and in Enchantment 8. So usually you want to go for one of them. Enchantment 8 also has Mass Regen, which can be nice. So yeah, I think those are probably the least greedy things to get, with maybe a bit of Conjuration so you can actually cast those spells. But yeah. Message from Bogarus. Hey casters, I made a dumb mistake. That kind of forces me to transfer my main mage force out of my capital to defend against the remote attacks that I threw up a couple of domes. But one of those domes was the Dome of Corruption. Now my mages would get horror marked and suffer extreme horror mark attacks if I stayed. At least now I'm unlikely to forget the exact dome effect in the future. Oh, that's funny. I wonder how long you put it up for. Having Dome of Corruption in your capital is a little cursed. Message from Falegra. Just broke open a bottle and got a genie. I'm going to have fun with this. Okay, so I assume that's the Construction 8 item. And a few battles here. We'll just skim through this, see if there's anything important here. And it does not appear there's anything terribly important. So the battles this turn were all between Jomin and Bogarus. And it doesn't really look to... I can't remember. Did they say they had... I know they got approached with peace. I don't know if they've agreed to it. I think they did. So I think we have peace now, and we'll take a look at score graphs. So Lemuria actually down a bit. Bogarus pretty steady for the past couple turns. Bogarus looks like they're... Or Joman was steady for a couple times. Bogarus back up almost to pre-war levels. And these guys are right here. See, the problem is, and this is why I keep harping on this, is a little bit like rump state territory. And with the next war they need to fight being against Lemuria, the spoils they get are going to kind of suck. That's why I think they needed to put these two players out. But, you know, what do I know? And those are like kind of hard conversations to have, because like you're telling, like maybe you're telling Phlegra, hey, why don't you and Ulm split, or why don't you and Abyssia split Satis? Well, it's pretty easy for that to make its way back to Satis or something, and then, you know, it can sow discord, saying you need to pull players out of the game, but I think that does need to happen. Anyway, that's basically the state of the game. Looks like everybody's going to take a breather here. We'll probably be able to move through some turns really quickly in the next episode, as we gear up for what I think will be the next major war, which will be against everybody against Lemuria. So stay tuned. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Take care.